This person tried to hide it, tried to keep busy, change habits, smile on the outside, but couldn't manage it. Nothing holds the same weight as what you gave. Other moments came, other people too, but nothing touched the same spot. Nothing reached the same depth. This person misses you, not what was experienced, but what was felt, what happened in silence, what blossomed in your presence, in the way you looked at them, in the way you were wholly you. They started noticing little by little. First, like a slight absence, then, like an uncomfortable emptiness, now, like something that can no longer be ignored. You left a mark that no one can erase, not through effort, but because it was real. This person feels, even in silence, even from afar, even while pretending to move on. And now, this desire to meet you again is starting to turn into a necessity. Do you feel that too? You have no idea how much you are missed. Or maybe you do, but hide it from yourself, because it hurts too much to acknowledge, because it still seems too early to admit or too late to try. But the fact is, this person feels, and feels strongly. In the beginning, it was almost imperceptible, a slight discomfort, almost confusing, a sensation that arose when everything seemed just fine, in the midst of a good moment, with new company, with any distraction. And then, a silence, an unexplainable emptiness, a stray thought. The memory of how you made everything feel calmer, of how you understood, without demanding explanations, of your way of being, not just of appearing. This person hasn't found that in anyone else, not trying, not forcing, not waiting, because what you offered wasn't visible. It was what overflowed when you said nothing. It was your ability to give yourself, even when you weren't sure how it would be received. It was the attention to details that no one notices, the gentle strength, the whole presence, even in the most uncertain moments. This person took a while to understand what was missing. At first, they thought it was nostalgia. Then, they considered it was neediness. Maybe they even confused it with pride. But now it has become clear. It's the absence of a connection that cannot be replaced, because it wasn't about good moments. It wasn't about chemistry, intensity, or memories. It was about who you were and how you were. It was about the kind of peace you brought, even amidst chaos. This person tried to erase you, tried to move on, start over, look ahead. But some things don't cooperate with time. Some absences grow. They scream. They fill the spaces that should be free. And this emptiness has a name. It has memories. It has shape. And it carries the exact weight of what you offered. You know this, even if you don't want to admit it. You felt that shift in energy too. That different silence, that distance that wasn't just physical. It was emotional. It was spiritual. This person misses who you were even in the most subtle parts. They miss your pauses, your steady gaze, your attentive listening, your way of caring without intruding, your nurturing without promises, your truth that hurt but healed. And even surrounded by people, this person feels alone, because no one else had the courage to show themselves the way you did. No one else touched where you touched. No one else became a refuge, like you did. And now everything weighs heavy. The absence weighs heavy. Time weighs heavy. The memories weigh heavy. Even the simplest gestures remind them of you. A touch from someone else, and the comparison arises. A phrase heard, and your voice echoes in their mind. A random scent, and the memory ignites. This person misses you in the details. At bedtime, in the middle of an ordinary conversation, in the rain, in traffic, in the music they can't fully listen to anymore, in the message they start to write and never send. They miss telling you things, sharing achievements, asking for advice, being vulnerable without fear. Misses the safe space you created, even when everything around was uncertain. This person knows they failed. They won't say it. They won't admit it easily. But deep inside, in the silence that no one sees, there's an acknowledgement. You were more than they realized at the time. You did more than they said. You gave something that many ask for, but almost no one can offer. This person misses what was only yours, what only you knew how to do, what only existed in your way of being. And now they are coming to terms with it, little by little, in small pains, in discreet regrets, in desires that still don't know how to act, but they feel. This person thinks about reaching out to you. They've opened your chat more than once. They've written entire texts and deleted them. They've regretted not holding you tighter, not saying the right things at the right time, putting off what shouldn't have waited. Now this person realizes it wasn't just anything, it wasn't just a moment, it was something rare, something that can't be recreated, something that hurts to lose, and no matter how much they try to move on, they always bump into you. You don't know, but there were nights when this person cried inside, conversations that ended with your name on their mind, moments when they caught themselves wishing to turn back time. This person wonders if you feel it too, if you still think about it, if you still remember. And maybe they won't say it, but they silently wish you would come back, even if it's just to look, just to ask if everything is okay, just to exist near each other again, because nothing has managed to take your place. Nothing had the same depth, nothing had the same soul. This person feels more than they would like, more than they show, more than they can contain. And if they haven't come back yet, it's just because they are still trying to figure out how to do it without seeming weak, without seeming needy, without getting hurt again. But the truth is there, wide open, brutal, irrefutable. You are missed, not just for who you were, but for everything you awakened. This person wants to come back, not to the past, but to you, to what was possible when you were around. Do you feel it too? Do you notice this movement? Do you carry this absence in some corner as well? If this resonates with you, comment, "This absence has a destination," or just feel it. Let it beat. Let it come. Because this story isn't over yet. There are still things left unsaid. There's still space that only you occupy. There's still a greater force at play. And it's moving. Do you feel it? Because this feeling doesn't come for no reason. It's not just memory. It's not merely remembrance. It's a presence that insists on staying. This person is increasingly consumed by this silent urgency, by this weight in their chest that can't be explained, by this restlessness that appears out of nowhere. But it has a name, it has a face, it has direction. Life is pushing closer, even when paths have diverged, even when everything seems to say otherwise. And even if this person keeps trying to convince themselves that they're okay, just a second is enough, a pause, a slip, and you resurface. That's when this person realizes you never left. You've always been there, quiet, stored away in a corner that no one else can reach. And maybe you think it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe you believed you hadn't left any marks, but you have. Invisible marks. Marks that hurt without a wound. Marks that linger even when everything around renews. This person remembers details you can't even imagine. They remember what you said when no one else was listening. They remember your expression when you were silent, the way you said goodbye. Even when you said see you later, you could feel that something in you stayed behind. And it did. This person misses what they haven't found again. The space where they could be vulnerable without being judged. The warmth that came from a light touch. The care that was expressed even in the way you walked alongside them. It wasn't just companionship. It wasn't just intimacy. It was a soul connection. And this, no matter the passage of time, it doesn't matter the distance, it doesn't matter how much you try to bury it. Come back. Come back in dreams. Come back in songs. Come back in the blank spaces. Come back when the world falls silent. This person didn't want to feel, not now, not anymore, but they do feel. Because deep down, they always knew. They always knew that with you it was different, that there was something inexplicable, uncontrollable, irreversible, and now, no matter how much they try to deny it, the body speaks. The heart cries out, the memory throbs. You were everything this person didn't know how to appreciate at the right time, and now everything that shows up is just comparison. It's just a frustrated attempt. It's just absence disguised as new presence. And you, even in silence, are still the loudest voice inside. This person feels you on good days because they miss sharing. They feel you on bad day because they miss support. They feel you in the middle of the night because they miss peace. You became a reference unintentionally, without planning, and no one can take that away. No one can erase it. No one can replace it. Maybe this person still doesn't know how to come back. Maybe they think they don't deserve it anymore, or that you don't want it anymore, but they think about it every day, more often than they admit. And every time they try to forget, they remember more. Every time they try to convince themselves it was better this way, a part inside screams that it wasn't. Every time they look ahead, they realize that they left something behind that they shouldn't have let go. This person is living, but they are not alive. They're smiling, but they don't feel. They're surrounded by people, but they feel alone. Because true connection, the one that gave meaning even to mundane moments, that connection stayed with you. And now, no matter how hard they try, nothing tastes the same. Nothing feels as solid. And maybe you're there, in silence too, feeling without saying, remembering without showing, waiting without knowing if it's worth it. But it is worth it, because it still exists, because it still vibrates, because even though time has taken a lot, it didn't take the truth. This person misses you, but not for a relationship. Don't label it, don't define it. You miss something more essential. You miss having your soul nearby. You miss what was light even in the pain, what was full even in the emptiness. And this longing can't be resolved with distractions. It doesn't fade with time. It doesn't dissolve in new connections, because what you lived wasn't just about living. It was about recognizing. It was about finding someone who made the world stand still, even if no one else noticed. This person feels, and they will continue to feel, until they have the courage, until the longing is greater than the fear, until the desire to start over conquers the pride of having let go. Can you feel that coming? If so, then just allow yourself. Breathe. Stay. Because something is shifting inside, and nothing will be the same after this. This person is beginning to surrender, not out of weakness, but because resisting is becoming more painful than feeling. There's no way to pretend it doesn't make a difference anymore. You are there, in everything that resonates, in the automatic act of looking at the phone, in the urge to share good news, in the missing that strikes for no reason. This person feels, and the intensity comes without warning. In the middle of the street, during an ordinary conversation, in a dream that leaves their chest tight upon waking. You became a presence, even without being there. You became the reference for what was whole. And no matter how much this person tries to fill the void with other voices, other bodies, other plans, nothing has the same density. There's something inside them calling for you, not with words, but with silence, with a deep exhaustion from trying to move forward without truth. It's as if everything that used to be light now feels heavy, as if everything that seems new sounds old, as if only what came from you still makes sense. And it's not because you were perfect, it's because you were real. And that has no substitute. This person rethinks their choices, mentally returns to the days they neglected, revisits moments when you were waiting for a simple gesture and received the opposite. Feels guilt, but more than that, feels absence. Because guilt can still be rationalized, but absence, it settles in the body, it slowly corrodes. This person misses even the things they once claimed to despise, their quirks, their persistent silence, their need to withdraw, their overly intense way of being, because now, everything that exists is too superficial, too shallow, too predictable. With you there was depth. Yes, there were conflicts, but there was truth. And this person is tired of relationships where nothing is felt truly. You were the necessary imbalance, the encounter that shook the structures, the surrender that disrupted what was comfortable, and that's why you lingered. It's impossible to forget someone who makes the soul tremble, who shows that being seen for who you are is possible, who touches without intruding, who remains even after they leave. This person wonders if it's still time, if there's still a path, if you feel the same way too, and even without an answer, a part of them insists on holding on to what was lived, insists on returning to your name every time something tightens, insists on remembering, not to suffer, but because there was life there. This person wants to reconnect wants to create an excuse, wants to open up a space, but fear holds them back. Pride weighs them down, doubt paralyzes, and in the meantime, they just feel. They miss your way of caring even when you said you didn't know how. Your somewhat awkward yet sincere touch, the way you pulled them close without saying a word. The feeling of being with you and needing to hide nothing. This person misses what you stirred in them, what no one else has awakened, what can't be explained but remains alive, pulsating deep inside. Hand deep down they wait for a sign. Hope you feel it too, hope you show up, hope you say something, hope you feel this absence just as much, or even stronger. Because when there's truth, time doesn't erase. It only confirms. And this person begins to realize that they can't move on without this peace. They can't ignore what burns. They can't pretend it was just a phase. You weren't a phase. You were a meeting. And no matter how the world spins, no matter how many other stories arise, there's a part inside this person that only vibrates for you. Do you feel that too? Do you feel like there's still something unresolved? That something is still asking to be lived, that there's still space? If so, then feel it. Allow it. Don't reject what still pulses. Because this person has already begun to come back, even without telling you, even without knowing how, even with fear of what they'll find. But they are coming back. Because living half of nothing is no longer an option, and you feel it, even while trying to resist. If this touched you, comment on what you felt, share and subscribe for more messages.